In a world where family ties shatter like fragile glass, one man's desperate quest to mend his broken bonds uncovers a web of betrayal that could destroy everything he holds dear. Dive into Broken Bonds, a gripping tale of love, loss, and redemption that will leave you questioning the true cost of forgiveness. Subscribe now to unlock exclusive stories like this and never miss a heartbeat of suspense. Your next thrill awaits. Story: Broken Bonds. The autumn leaves crunched under Elias's boots as he walked the familiar path to his childhood home. It had been 10 years since he last set foot in Willow Creek, a small town nestled in the rolling hills of upstate New York. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of wood smoke from distant chimneys, but Elias felt no warmth. His heart was a storm of unresolved emotions, anger, regret, and a lingering ache for what once was. Broken bonds, he thought bitterly. That's what his life had become. Elias Thorne was 35 now, a successful architect in the bustling city of Chicago. His designs graced skyscrapers that pierced the heavens, but his personal life was a blueprint of failure. Divorced twice, estranged from his siblings, and barely on speaking terms with his aging parents, Elias had built walls higher than any structure he ever drafted. It started with the accident, the one that tore his family apart like a fault line in an earthquake. He remembered it vividly. The screech of tires on a rainy night, the blinding headlights, and the impact that sent his younger brother, Micah, flying from the passenger seat. Elias had been driving, just 19 at the time, fresh from a heated argument with their father about his future. "You're wasting your potential," his father had bellowed, slamming the door as Elias stormed out with Micah in tow. They were heading to a party, a rebellion against the strict household rules. But the roads were slick, and Elias's mind was elsewhere. The crash claimed Micah's life instantly, and with it, the family's unity. His parents, Harold and Evelyn Thorne, never forgave him. "You took our boy," his mother had whispered through tears at the funeral, her voice laced with accusation. His sister, Clara, 2 years his junior, turned away from him, her eyes filled with a hatred that mirrored his own self-loathing. Elias left Willow Creek shortly after, vowing never to return. But now, a letter from his father had pulled him back. "Come home, son. We need to talk. Your mother's not well." The words were simple, but they carried the weight of a decade's silence. As Elias approached the old Victorian house, its paint peeling like forgotten memories, he hesitated at the gate. The garden, once Evelyn's pride with blooming roses and neatly trimmed hedges, was overgrown with weeds. He knocked, and the door creaked open to reveal Harold, frailer than Elias remembered, his once imposing frame bent with age. "Elias," he said, his voice gravelly. "You came." Inside, the house smelled of dust and stale coffee. Evelyn sat in the living room, wrapped in a shawl, her eyes distant. "Cancer," Harold explained later in the kitchen, stage 4. She had months, maybe less. Elias felt a pang in his chest, but it was mixed with resentment. Why now? Why summon him after all these years of exile? That first evening was tense. They ate dinner in silence, the clink of forks echoing like accusations. Clara arrived unannounced, her presence a surprise. She was married now, with 2 children, living in a nearby town. Her hug was stiff, her smile forced. "For Mom's sake," she muttered as she pulled away. As days turned into weeks, Elias extended his stay, helping with chores and doctor's appointments. He learned the depth of his family's fractures. Harold had turned to alcohol after Micah's death, his temper flaring unpredictably. Evelyn had withdrawn into herself, her faith the only anchor. Clara had borne the brunt, caring for them while building her own life. "You left us to deal with the mess," she accused one night over wine. "You ran away." "I couldn't stay," Elias retorted. "Every corner reminded me of him. Of what I did." But as they talked, layers peeled away. Elias shared his guilt, the nightmares that still plagued him. Clara admitted her own regrets, how she blamed herself for not stopping them that night. Harold confessed that his harsh words had driven Elias to that fateful drive. Evelyn, in her lucid moments, spoke of forgiveness, urging them to heal. Yet, not all was as it seemed. One afternoon, while sorting through Micah's old room, untouched like a shrine, Elias found a hidden journal. The entries were cryptic, detailing arguments with a mysterious J, and hints of a secret life. Micah had been involved in something shady, Perhaps drugs or gambling. Elias's heart raced. Had the accident been more than bad luck? He confronted Clara first. "Who is Jay?" he asked, showing her the journal. Her face paled. "Jason. Mika's best friend. They were into some trouble back then." Jason Hale, Elias recalled, a charismatic troublemaker from high school. He lived on the outskirts of town, running a mechanic shop now. Elias drove there the next day, the journal tucked in his coat. The shop was grimy, filled with the clang of metal. Jason, burly and tattooed, eyed him suspiciously. "What do you want, Thorne?" "Answers about Micah." Jason laughed bitterly. "Micah owed me money. Big time. That night, he was supposed to pay up. But you crashed before he could." Elias's world tilted. "You were there, following us." Jason shrugged. "I might have been pushing him a bit. Tailgating to scare him. Didn't mean for it to go that far." Rage boiled in Elias. The accident wasn't solely his fault. Jason's recklessness had contributed. But why the silence? "Fear," Jason admitted. "I had priors. Would have gone away for good." Elias left, mind reeling. He told his family that evening. Shock rippled through them. Harold wept. Evelyn prayed. Clara stormed out. But it was a catalyst. They began to unravel the truth together, contacting old friends, digging through records. It turned out Micah had been dealing small time to fund a dream of escaping Willow Creek, inspired by Elias's ambitions. As Evelyn's health declined, the family rallied. Elias designed a small addition to the house, a sunroom for her comfort. Clara brought her kids, filling the home with laughter for the first time in years. Harold sobered up, attending meetings. Bonds, though broken, began to mend. But Jason's confession opened a Pandora's box. Rumors spread in town, and soon, the police reopened the case. Jason was arrested for vehicular manslaughter, his tailgating proven by witness statements Elias uncovered. Justice, delayed but delivered. Evelyn passed peacefully in the sunroom, surrounded by her family. Her last words to Elias: "Forgive yourself, my boy. We have." In the aftermath, Elias stayed in Willow Creek, rebuilding not just the house but his life. He and Clara grew close. Harold found purpose in mentoring youth. Broken bonds, once shattered, were forged anew, stronger, tempered by truth and time. Wait, this is just a placeholder summary. To reach 4,000 words, I need to expand massively. Let's continue with detailed scenes, dialogues, descriptions, subplots, etc. Elias arrived at the airport in Albany, renting a nondescript sedan for the drive to Willow Creek. The highway wound through forests ablaze with fall colors, reds, oranges, and golds that should have been beautiful but only reminded him of blood and fire. His mind wandered to Micah, the brother who idolized him. Micah with his infectious laugh, his dreams of becoming a musician. "You'll design the stage, Eli, and I'll rock it," he'd say. Pulling into town, Elias noted the changes. The old diner was now a coffee shop, the mill closed down. But the Thorne house stood timeless, a sentinel of memories. Knocking, he braced himself. Harold opened the door, his eyes widening. "Son." They shook hands awkwardly, like strangers. Inside, Evelyn looked frail on the couch, oxygen tubes in her nose. "Elias," she whispered, reaching out. He took her hand, feeling the bones beneath papery skin. They talked haltingly. Harold mentioned the diagnosis: lung cancer, despite never smoking. "Secondhand from the factory days," he grumbled. Clara arrived with groceries, her kids in tow. Little Emma, 5, and Jack, 7, stared at Elias curiously. "Uncle Eli?" Jack asked. "Yeah, kiddo." Elias ruffled his hair, feeling a thaw in his heart. That night, after the kids left, tensions rose. "Why did you come back?" Clara asked, pouring whiskey. "Dad's letter," she snorted. "Took you long enough. I had my reasons." Like running from guilt, Elias slammed his glass. "You think I don't live with it every day?" Harold intervened. "Enough. Your mother's sleeping." The next day, Elias drove Evelyn to chemo. The hospital was sterile, the wait endless. She patted his arm. "Tell me about your life, Elias." He spoke of his firm, his ex-wives, Sarah, who left because he was distant, Mia, who couldn't handle his nightmares. "I'm broken, Mom. We're all broken. It's how we mend that matters." Back home, Elias explored the attic, finding old photos. One showed the 4 siblings. No, 3, him, Clara, Micah. Wait, 4, no, just them. But memories flooded. Family picnics, holidays, the bond before the break. He found the journal under Mika's bed. Entries dated weeks before the accident. Jay pressuring me for the money. Told him I'd pay after the deal. Eli doesn't know. Can't drag him in. Heart pounding. Elias read on. Micah was selling weed to locals, saving for a guitar and amp. Jay was his supplier, demanding more. Confronting Clara. You knew. She sighed. Suspected. Micah confided a bit. After the crash, I buried it. Blamed you instead. Why? Easier than facing his choices. Elias tracked Jason. The shop was busy, cars in various states of repair. Jason wiped grease from his hands. Thorne. Heard you were back. Talk. Over beer in the back office, Jason spilled. Micah owed $5,000. That night, I followed to collect. Honked. Flashed lights. You swerved on the rain, hit the tree. You caused it. Accident. I panicked, fled. Elias reported it anonymously. Police investigated, found Jason's car had damage consistent with tailgating. As the family processed, they bonded over shared grief. Elias helped Jack with homework, taught Emma to draw. Clara opened up about her marriage, strained but salvageable. Harold shared war stories from Vietnam, explaining his rigidity. Evelyn's condition worsened. Hospice came. In her final days, she orchestrated reconciliation. Promised to stay connected, she begged. They did. After the funeral, Elias sold his Chicago condo, moved back. He opened a local architecture firm, designed community projects. Clara's family visited often. Harold gardened, finding peace. Years later, on Mika's anniversary, they gathered at the grave. Broken bonds mended, Elias toasted. But life wasn't perfect. Elias dated sparingly, scars lingering. One day, he met Lena, a teacher with her own losses. Their bond grew slowly, built on honesty. The town healed too. Jason served time, emerged reformed, apologizing publicly. Elias reflected. Bonds break, but with effort, they rebond stronger.